This is Liam McGuire, and you're listening to the Ocho.
This is Mark Mackey of the Edmonton Eskimos, and you guys are listening to the Ocho.
And welcome everybody to the 43rd edition of the Ocho podcast. I'm Riley Evans, sitting across from me for the last time in a significant period of time, at least in the physical sense, Mr. Aaron Lieberman.
Are you going to ask me how I'm doing?
Yeah, how are you doing?
You know, pretty.
I was going to give you the floor to talk about.
Pretty emotional. You know, last live show, you know, in person here with Riley. Although, obviously, this show will go on, and we will continue to find a way to bring you live video. However, this will be the last time that we meet to do it in person.
I'm excited. I don't have to leave my house except for the hockey show anymore. It's just like. It's as close to a dream existence as I can get. And obviously I'm kidding, you know, I'm going to miss having you in studio and stuff. But we're going to make it happen. We're looking into a variety of different electronic ways, some paid, some difficult but free. So we're going to balance a variety of different options, and we're going to keep getting this thing to you. Just give us a couple weeks.
Absolutely.
All right. So we got some trending topics today in our trends and bends, and we're going to start off with the continuing saga of Kyrie Irving and Isaiah Thomas and the Cleveland Cavaliers and the Boston Celtics and a couple players in a first-round draft pick.
Yeah, I mean, are we going to get deep into this now, or should we save this for my blast off? Perhaps I don't want to scratch too much off of this surface, and would really like to go off in the blast off section. So,
well, you know what? That would have been great information for you to tell me before the show. Since you didn't, what else do you want to talk about for trends and bends?
Well, we do have some breaking news. Just came across. Just came across our desk, you know, before we started the show, the metaphorical desk that, of course, we have. And that is that there has been a move in the AFC North. Joe Hayden, former All-Pro corner, has signed a 3-year, $27 million contract with the Steelers after spending the first 7 years of his career with the Cleveland Browns. So, a big move for Joe Hayden, having being stuck in you know, the Brown purgatory for the entirety of his career, and you know, kind of moving to a locker room where that winning mentality has been bred and is really the only way that they do business in Pittsburgh. So, what are your initial thoughts on the move for Joe Hayden?
I mean, I knew they were shopping him, and I thought that it was likely they would release him if they couldn't find a trade partner. Pittsburgh's a good spot for them because they have a very young secondary that's highly suspect in its ability to play football, but having a veteran like Joe Hayden on the team is certainly going to help them out in their development. But in terms of a player in itself, I don't think this Joe Hayden is the same Joe Hayden that we remember from 3-4 years ago when he was sort of in that conversation. At the time, it was Darrelle Revis, so you can tell how long ago this was, Rich Sherman, Pat P., and Joe Hayden was right there. Those were the 4 top dogs in terms of defensive backs in the league. He's not that guy anymore. And the statistics tell, I can't remember them off the top of my head, but his man coverage numbers, which are what he's known for, are down. He's getting beat more often, and he's getting beat by less proficient receivers. So as part of a unit, can certainly be part of a unit, but I think they're going to have to play, you know, some more zone and not have him being stuck out there in the island as much.
Yeah, for sure. Like we were kind of talking about before the show, I see this as a huge move for Joe. You know, is he a top 5 corner in the league anymore? Certainly not. But I think the idea is that he's an A-plus competitor. He has a lot of IQ at the cornerback position and has shown through his 7-year career that he can be a part of a great unit. He just has never had one. So I think moving to Pittsburgh, you know, huge for him in terms of his confidence levels, and you know, it will give him the ability to, I think, play a little bit more out of his shell maybe. And like you said, I don't really see the Steelers trying to play a whole lot of man. They have a very young and ferocious front seven. And I think with a younger secondary as well, you're more like to sit back in the kind of zone blitz packages and things like that, where they can get their young pass rushers like TJ getting after quarterbacks, where you got guys like Joe Hayden sitting in coverage. So a big move for him. Of course, at this point in his career, probably the closest he's going to find himself to competing for a ring. So, was probably under the impression, as long as he was playing for the Browns like Joe Thomas, that he will not have that opportunity. So, happy for him. And I think it's a huge addition to a young and kind of unvetted secondary in Pittsburgh.
Here's the thing, though. I think his confidence is about to take a dive, and I'll tell you why. He's the best cornerback on that team, right?
Correct.
Who's got to play up against in practice every day?
AB.
AB's going to eat him alive.
Are you telling me that's not good for you, though, man? Like, good for your development to, like, practice with a guy?
He's 29. He's not developing. He's just going to get...
29 is not that old, man.
It is for a cornerback. Darrelle Revis is 31, and he fell off the face there. He doesn't even have a contract.
Darrelle Revis at 29 was a different story.
No, he still wasn't the same guy.
But he was still a top flight guy.
Yeah. I'm mostly kidding. I don't actually think this is going to hurt his confidence. I just think the idea of Joe Hayden getting like toasted.
It's a career revival.
Toasted. In
El Caliente take. Joe Hayden going to the Pro Bowl this year.
Not happening.
Absolutely happening.
Not happening.
Absolutely happening.
No member of that Steelers secondary is going to the Pro Bowl.
Cannot wait until
and my
Joe
take's
Hayden
not even hot.
Goes to the Pro Bowl.
What do you want to put on it?
Well, apparently I'm indebted to you a few pints, so we'll be out of the city at that point. But we can figure something out. But
apparently, like we've had them. They've been on camera every show. You gonna lie and say you brought some of those?
Brought those blueberry pints there.
Yeah, that's one. That's one. Let's go. Let's look back at every single show we've had beverages on.
I don't require as many beverages. I feel like the beverage is your idea.
I know.
Self-serving.
Whatever. Anyways, moving on. Since you don't want to talk about Kyrie, what else is there?
My boy Johnny Manziel in the news again. Very close to my heart. Wear his jersey.
Our heart. Let's be fair. I'm Team
hearts.
Johnny also.
We are pro Johnny here on the Ocho. Very much love Johnny and his play style and his ability to party with the best of them.
Oh, hundo.
Johnny Manziel making his way into the news again, and this time up here in the Great White North. Johnny Manziel had a workout with the Hamilton Ticats in front of their entire front office as well as their coaching staff, and they came to the conclusion that he is actually unprepared to begin his professional career again. So
was that actually what they said to the media, or
that
did
was
they just
their
not
quote?
Sign him? Okay, right.
That was their quote. Yeah. So they still have 10 days to sign my main man Johnny, but for now we are waiting, just hoping that Johnny can find his way back onto a football field.
Any football field. Is the Arena League still around?
What's that?
Is the Arena League still around? Is that still a thing?
I don't think so.
Man. Imagine what kind of Arena League numbers Johnny would put on. I'd watch the Arena League for Johnny. I'd watch the Arena League for Johnny.
I feel like if Johnny got his way onto a CFL team, I mean, first of all, cocaine and marijuana are not banned substances in the CFL.
No, I don't even think they drug test.
Just putting that out there.
Yeah.
So could be.
Wait, have you actually checked that?
No, that's a fact.
Okay, continue.
That's a fact. And I won't say why because it references a hopeful friend of the show who's never made his way on here. But the idea is that I think that with his mobility, with his big arm, and just, with the wider field, if Johnny were able to get into a CFL locker room, I think it would be a great opportunity for him to get some looks on a stage again where he can showcase his ability to play the game that he says he loves so much.
All I have to say is here's hoping that Ryan Lindley and Drew Tate suffer season-ending practice non-contact injuries.
To the Red Blacks?
Yeah.
Oh, Rouge et Noir.
Buddy. If Johnny Foos signs with the Ottawa Red Blacks,
I'll have to move back.
Here's the thing, you'll be in Toronto by then, so I'll be the first person in line to buy a jersey.
Fuck.
Now I have to edit that out. Continue.
That's the easy one.
Yeah, it's But no, I think we're both believers in the talent of Johnny Manziel. We think he has the ability and the talent to be, a quarterback, frankly, in the NFL and to have success on that level. So certainly, we hope that he gets whatever he has to do in order so that he can get on a CFL roster. And then, sort of ladder up from there.
No doubt. Did you catch wind of the coach that was hired in the CFL the other day?
Yeah, I did.
Did you want to talk about that?
Oh, what's the dude's name? I've actually blocked it out of my mind.
So, for those of whom...
I know the whole story, though. But
okay, do you want to just start going into the story?
What's the cat's name? Anyways, he was the head coach at Baylor, during which there was a scandal. Art Briles? Okay. Art Briles was the head coach at Baylor University, which is a high level football program in the United States, in the NCAA. One would argue actually that like being the head coach at Baylor is probably like of a higher, sporting echelon than being like a head coach in the CFL. Right? Because it's a huge football program. RG3 came out of Baylor. But yes, I know. Thank you. Anyways, so he was the head coach, and during his time at Baylor, there was a scandal where apparently members of the Baylor football team were sexually assaulting women on campus, and he was involved in covering this up. Not only was he involved in covering it up, but when it actually came to light that this was happening, he said some egregiously inappropriate things in the media to the tune of, what, my guys are supposed to be tough. Just stay away from them. You don't want to get hurt. Stay away from my football players.
Yikes.
Things that are like the highest level of unacceptability. And, the Hamilton Tiger Cats thought it would be a good idea to bring him in.
And as it happened,
basically what a lot of people basically said about it is that he was hired by the Hamilton Tiger Cats and then very shortly after fired by the CFL.
Right. And just to bring everyone full circle, I mean, this is news to me now. The Ticats have actually backtracked.
Yeah. No, I already knew that. I thought that was the story.
That's news to me.
Yeah.
So they've agreed to not hire him.
Yeah. No, basically, they never should have brought him in the first place. And I think good on the CFL for saying this is not a person whose reputation is conducive for the growth of this league. And frankly, we just want to make sure that there are character individuals as frequently as possible taking up coaching positions and playing positions in this league. And this just an Art Riles, not a character individual in the least bit.
Yeah, it does not seem that way. And, good on Hamilton and the CFL for kind of quashing this before it became too big of an issue.
Yeah, well, not good on the CFL. Bad on Hamilton. Awful on Hamilton. Because here's the thing: if the league didn't do anything, that guy would still have a job with the Ticats right now. But the league basically came down and informally sort of flexed their muscles and said, "You're not hiring this man. It's not happening." So good on the CFL. Hamilton Tiger Cats, frankly, should be ashamed of themselves from bringing somebody like that into their coaching staff, even for a short period of time. Excuse me.
Absolutely.
All right. Is there one more thing we want to do?
Well, I mean, the Kyrie stuff could be covered in Blast Off. Did you want to wait to talk about the fight? Did you want to make that part of your Blast Off?
No, I don't even know what my Blast Off is. You jumped that on me. But I think because Alan Shaw, former fact checker of the Ocho, yes, I said former, may be joining us later because we are in his humble abode. He'll be coming home from work probably sometime around 6. So ideally, I wanted to wait till he got here to discuss the fight so we can jump right into Blast Off.
Sounds good.
And I'll search feverishly for a story.
Absolutely. Well, it will be one final live blast off for myself and Riley here in person, and it's a pretty big one. It's my blast off is it's about a story that I've kind of been stewing on for the last couple weeks now, and definitely some stuff I just kind of want to get off my chest. So whenever you're ready to count me down, I will take a sip of this magnificent Budweiser and get moving on.
Okay. You want me to count you in? 3, 2, 1.
So, as it happens, the Kyrie Isaiah Thomas mega deal has been stalled. As it happens, Isaiah has a hip injury that was, not fully understood by the Cavaliers at the time of the trade request. And they have been doing some further investigations to, kind of find out how long this injury is going to keep IT from playing. Now, what this means it means a million things, but I just want to start with just the very first thing that really grinds my gears about this entire trade is that Isaiah Thomas played for the Boston Celtics the day after his sister was killed. You traded this man the same year, and you expect players to give you loyalty and respect and understanding when they ask for things like pay cuts, when they move your players, your teammates, your colleagues, and your friends. And then they go ahead and they trade you to the second place team in the East. Actually, I guess it wasn't technically a second place team at the time.
It was the first place team in the East, if you go by, who represented them in the Eastern Conference in the NBA Finals.
Absolutely disgraceful for the Boston franchise, which is long lived, long owned, and long respected by NBA fans and former players alike. I just don't even know where to start talking about how that is not how you treat somebody in the NBA or a person, a human being at all. And for Boston, Danny Ainge to go ahead and make this move and revamp the roster in this way, just makes me just so upset. Even myself for questioning the Kevin Durant move and the aspect of loyalty in today's NBA. After I saw this move, I don't believe there is any loyalty in the NBA. I now truly, the blinds have opened and the wool has been lifted over my eyes, and the NBA is a damn business that doesn't know how to treat its clients. And at the end of the day, I hope wherever Isaiah goes, which can't be Boston now, because I'll tell you this right now. If I'm Isaiah Thomas and this trade does not go through, I'm not playing for Boston next season. There is a 0% chance that I'm playing for a team that traded me after I averaged 30 points a game to give my team the first seed in the Eastern Conference over LeBron James and the Cavaliers. There's no way. So if this trade doesn't work out for you, I think even if it does work out for them, I think Boston's cursed, man. Like I think that they get I think that they get Kyrie, and that's going to be all well and good. But I just feel like, I'm a big believer in karma. I'm a big believer in destiny, and I'm a big believer in kind of the national succession of events. And I think that if they go ahead,
natural succession, let's
go with that. And if that happens, if Isaiah moves or he leaves or he gets traded, I think something's gonna happen. Like Kyrie's gonna get injured. Gordon Hayward's gonna, beat up some woman. Like some terrible things are gonna happen to that franchise, because I think they had such a great chance after they moved on from Kevin Garnett and Paul Pierce. Like they got a king's ransom for those players from Brooklyn, and they just went ahead and traded it alongside Isaiah Thomas, one of Brooklyn's now first round draft picks, for Kyrie Irving, who just didn't want to play in the shadow of the king any longer. God forbid Kyrie go to the finals again and have a guaranteed spot in the finals every year LeBron played alongside him on that team. Like, God forbid he take on that role, and just a disgraceful situation on all sides. And I truly just feel for Isaiah. I was, a big fan all season long. And, to see him treated like this by that front office makes me sick to my stomach, man. Like, what else could you possibly do for an NBA team to guarantee yourself a spot on next year's roster?
Win a championship. At least make it to the finals. I had a question.
Play after your sister dies?
I had a question. First of all, I'm happy you finally realized the NBA is a business. Welcome to reality. I hope you enjoy your stay. I'd say we have cookies, but we don't, because this is reality. Question. Who's the better basketball player? Isaiah Thomas or Kyrie Irving?
Kyrie Irving.
That's correct. Who's the younger basketball player?
Kyrie Irving.
Who's got more upside?
Kyrie Irving.
So, you're essentially faulting the Boston Celtics for making a business move, a business decision to make their team better. Get rid of a guy who's ball dominant.
Are you telling me that like, okay, I'm agreeing with you. I'm leveling with you here, right? Like I do think Kyrie is better.
Yes.
Okay.
Significantly.
So is he Jay Crowder and a first round pick better? Could be a lottery protected pick.
But you also have to look at
Is he that much better?
How long are the deals of the guys that you're giving away?
Kyrie has 2 years and
then a third one. He has a team option after the 2. So he's actually on a 3-year deal. Isaiah's a free agent. Crowder's decent. We don't know who the 7-foot. I can't even remember the guy's name. We don't know, but he's a prospect.
Like Boston's not going to the Eastern Conference Finals this year.
With Kyrie and Gordon Hayward. They're definitely going to the Eastern Conference Finals. Here's the thing. I love this trade because both teams actually got better. Both teams got better because of this trade.
Isaiah and LeBron could leave. Cleveland could be left with nothing.
Oh, that's why they got the pick. That's a lottery pick. That could be the first pick overall.
I understand.
That's the thing. That's why they got that, and that's why the reason this trade is stalled is because Isaiah is more hurt than they thought he was. They're trying to hold out for another pick, right?
I didn't even get a chance to talk about the fact that they think they can get any more out of this trade.
They might.
Are you telling me Isaiah is 2 picks and Jay Crowder?
Here's the thing. Half a season, possibly. It's Isaiah, but it might be half a season of Isaiah. And it's 3 years of Kyrie Irving, who's only getting better.
I just think that I've worked in business, man, and sometimes you can make the X's and O's decision. But I'm like, you're making a decision that is going to cause ripples, man. Like if I'm a player now, I don't want to go to Boston. I don't care who's there. It doesn't matter, man. Because if I like IT and I like the work that he did, I'm not going to go there out of respect. I'm going to go somewhere where the front office is going to keep me around if I score 30 damn points a game and lead my team to the first seed.
Yeah, but here's the thing. This is an aberrational situation. How often does a guy like Kyrie Irving become available by trade? And here's the thing. Not only available, like he can kick tires, but you know that they have to move him because he won't show up for camp. Kyrie was not going to show up for camp if they didn't move him. So not only you have 3 years of a guy 25 years old, a top 10 player became available by trade. That doesn't happen. When that happens, if you're the team with the most assets, you put whatever assets you have on the table and you make that deal happen. So if I'm a player and I'm looking to go to Boston, I think, okay, they've got Kyrie, they've got Gordon Hayward. Sure, some people don't like the circumstances under which they acquired Kyrie, but a situation like someone like Kyrie becoming available is highly unlikely to happen again.
I don't like it.
I know you don't like it. That's
like
why you've been
one,
a blast off.
One bit, man. And wherever Isaiah goes, man, I think he's now.
They'll make this trade. Here's the thing. I think the deal exactly how it's on the table right now will happen, because I think Boston has the leverage in this situation because Kyrie's the best piece in the entire situation, but he's not going to camp if he doesn't get moved. So Cleveland has the most to lose in terms of like a quality asset sitting out. Because here's the thing. Maybe Isaiah doesn't show up to camp if they don't get that. If this trade doesn't go through. James Crowder, he'll show up. He'll be like, you know what? I'm a good player. I'm not that great though. This was a business decision they could have made. I respect that. Now that I'm still on the team, I'm still going to show up for work. The prospect's a prospect. The pick doesn't exist yet. So right now, Cleveland has the most to lose for this trade not going through, because they have the biggest asset that will become a non-asset. So I think basically they're playing chicken right now, and eventually Danny Ainge is going to hold firm, and Dan Gilbert's going to break down and say, fine, okay, we'll make the deal.
Yeah, probably. I mean, Milwaukee's come out and said they'd offer them Malcolm Brogdon and Chris Middleton, but not exactly the same package. No. Although Malcolm Brogdon did play really well this year.
Neither of them's Isaiah.
I understand that. I'm a big IT4 guy, but I'm just saying Malcolm Brogdon is younger than all of those guys you talked about.
Yeah.
And won Rookie of the Year this year.
But here's the thing. This trade is very complex in the fact where it both helps the Cavaliers going forward and also caters to LeBron. Isaiah's the LeBron piece to this. So they need that that top end guy to complete the big three coming back in the deal, and they're not getting that anywhere else. And what I've always said is like I wouldn't trade Kyrie unless I was getting a stud coming back. IT's a stud. He's beastly. He's a little, but he's beastly.
And that's just it. Like I really don't think Kyrie's that much better of a defender than Isaiah.
Oh, he's way better of a defender.
I feel like he's held as like not being that great of a defender.
Oh, he's not. But here's the thing. Kyrie can be a serviceable defender when he puts in situationally when he puts energy into playing defense. He's just disinterested in playing defense. The reality is that Isaiah Thomas's physical limitations, being 5'9", make him incapable of playing solid defense, no matter how hard he tries. Because he's the thing. He's a dog. Okay, he's the type of guy. If he was like 6'2", like Chris Paul, he would play defense like Chris Paul.
He thinks he's the best player in the NBA. If he was
Exactly.
6'2". That's what he said.
Exactly. He's that type of guy. If he was 6'2", he'd be trying to win Defensive Player of the Year. But the fact is that because he's 5'9", regardless of effort level, guys are just going to be able to pull up in front of him. And there's nothing he can do about that. Whereas Kyrie, in situations where you really need to bear down and play defense, he can be serviceable.
I hope every player on Boston breaks their legs.
Okay, come on. Come on. What did the players do? That's just mean. You should hope Danny Ainge breaks his leg.
Not enough.
Enough?
He's still going to be making money if that happens.
Yeah, so a bunch of guys that had nothing to do with this trade, you want them to all break their legs, lose their livelihoods.
Just momentarily.
Just momentarily. I want them to break their legs for 5 minutes.
You know what? The Mafia in Boston's pretty legit, man.
That's true. There's a lot of Irish people
I
there.
wouldn't mess around with those guys.
I wouldn't mess around either. Okay, what else we got?
Are you blasting?
I couldn't think of anything. That's why I dragged yours out for so long.
That's okay. Okay, let's just jump right into some QB analysis for the NFL.
Okay, so we want to talk like training camp quarterback battles. Like, what are we doing?
Yeah.
Okay, what training camp? We're past week 3 of the preseason. What teams are still battling?
First of all, everyone's always battling, okay? Unless you got Tom Brady or Matt Ryan or Drew Brees or Aaron Rodgers or any of these guys, you're battling. If you're Cleveland, I mean, they're saying, obviously Kaiser's a starter. I want to see that, and I want to talk about it right now as to just why he got it and things like that. But at the end of the day, if you're Cleveland, whoever's going to win you games is going to start.
Sean Kaiser's the only person that rostered that might win games.
So we're going to talk about it, you big curly-headed.
You jealous? A little jealous?
So let's start with Cleveland.
Yeah.
I'm not jealous, just on air. For
You
the
should
record.
be.
Just totally
should
fine
be.
with the waves that I got. So the first quarterback battle that has recently concluded, because we don't do this show every day, so sometimes we have to talk about things in a recap fashion.
Yeah.
Is the
One day,
Cleveland-
though. One day we might lay this thing down every other day. Once we've got the office building
Boom, boom.
and we've got enough employees to the sort of like the work of the organization. What are you doing?
It's like the epic build up to the company. It's like how it would sound.
Anyways, once we've got enough employees to make sure that the day's work will continue, we'll probably figure out how to get a serious satellite channel. Lay it down. The Ocho radio. How's that sound?
Sounds pretty hype.
Yeah, we'll lay it down for an hour every day.
Sounds Gucci.
Okay, continue.
Going to Cleveland, we got a quarterback battle that has recently concluded, and we're just going to take a look at things, how they went down, why they went down the way that they
You know what we should do? Since it's battles, we should be did they win by knockout? Did they win by TKO? Which is sort of like they were better, but
situationally,
or decision, whereas somebody won by default.
I love it, and it kind of goes along with the theme of the fight.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So first
Ding,
of all,
ding, ding.
the Cleveland Browns. Deshaun Kaiser, starting quarterback. How'd he win the fight?
Knockout.
Ooh! He put that left palm straight in the dome.
Baby, Osweiler can't defend himself at all. So
No.
be
No,
a
we
one-sided fight.
Yeah.
Deshaun Kaiser has looked really good. Obviously, there's been a lot of noise in Cleveland with Kyrie, as we just kind of talked about. But Deshaun Kaiser looked legit. And, of course, only preseason. We've talked about that. We've disclaimed that a number of times. But the thing to keep in mind here is that the guy in charge, he is on the hot seat. Hugh Jackson had his last year. It was expected. They understood that it was not going to be the greatest season and that, they were going to come up with a very, very high draft pick in 2017. However, in the NFL, that hot seat gets pretty hot year after year. And it's not the Iron Throne. It's not just uncomfortable.
Yeah. It was at like a 4. If you were on your oven, it was at like a 4. So like just before medium last year. Now it's about a 6.5.
I would say so. And I think that this represents a huge decision for Hugh Jackson, which, he does take a large role and has always taken a large role in the player personnel aspect of coaching. And I think that him going with Kaiser is a huge, kind of shout out to the team that this is the mentality we have. We're young, we're feisty, we're growing, we're developing, but we're going to put our best foot forward, even if that means putting a rookie out there, which is something that they have done time in and time again, and it has destroyed quarterbacks' careers. So I think that's why this is a relevant thing to talk about, because just because he's going in there and he is the better quarterback, it doesn't mean that he's going to come out of this in a great situation, because he's joining a long list of Cleveland Browns quarterbacks, that have been written on the back of a jersey, which was actually, it's been retired now, so he won't find his way onto that jersey, but maybe it'll come.
Why? Because he was cursing them?
Because I just think it was too heavy.
Yeah. All right.
He's like 2-ply paper. But anyhow, I like to see Kaiser, man. I think he had a good career. I like the story of a lot of people saying that he came out too early and they said he could have stayed a little bit later, and people were really questioning his decision going into the draft. But I love that he's come out on top of this QB battle, because Brock Osweiler is an absolute bum. I think it's fair to say we hate him on the Ocho. We
especially me.
Especially because of DeAndre in last year's fantasy.
Yes, thank you.
But I think
also big shout out Spencer Ware. Get well soon, preferably at some point this fantasy season. Continue.
No doubt. That's thankfully why we're drafting late in the Ocho Fantasy League. A little bit more time to look out for those injuries.
That's in 4 days, isn't it? This is Sunday night.
It's Sunday at 8, yeah.
It's Sunday Night Football, baby.
Or Sunday at 10.
Sunday Night Football, baby. Continue.
Oh yeah, it's a season opener too, right?
No, it's that's Thursday next week. Yeah.
Looking forward to it. But looking forward to see what Deshaun can do in this offense. And I like this whole kind of youth movement from the Browns. They've also actually put up their previous, I think he was a 2nd-round pick, Irving. He plays center. He was out of Florida State. They put him on the trade block. Obviously, Joe Hayden has departed. So there's a lot of insecurity.
Joe Thomas still there. Won't. I think he has a no trade.
Yeah, I think he's
not interested in leaving for some reason.
He just wants to be cremated on the Cleveland football field.
Yeah, 100%.
That's what happens every time he steps on it anyways. So
still decent.
I know he is. I just mean like as a team.
Okay, can we talk about something for a sec? And we'll get back to this and we'll move on. Actually, I've got the list of teams in front of me, so I'll just jump between battles. Joe Thomas in Madden 18 has a 98 overall rating. That is farcical. That is laughable. Joe Thomas is a slightly above average left tackle at this stage in his career.
Whoa.
He is.
Slightly above average?
Yeah, he's a bit above average.
I think it's just fair to say he is above average.
He's an above average. Okay, let's say he's above
slightly,
average.
Like he's just better than these like I know. Okay, it's obviously
average is like the average NFL left tackle is a good left tackle. That's what I'm saying, because there's a bunch of bums that can't play. I'm not counting them. Okay, so he's better than solid, but he's not elite. He's no longer an elite left tackle in this league, and his Madden rating is absurd to the nth degree.
I feel like this Madden has always had kind of a soft spot for veterans and stuff like that. Like I feel like guys who have been late in their career, a la Adrian Peterson, have been continually overrated.
What did they give him this year?
I have no idea.
Should have been higher.
I probably like an 82.
Should have been higher.
But anyway,
continue.
I agree with you. Like I'm not saying he's an elite quarterback by any stretch.
Well, he's certainly not a quarterback because he plays left tackle.
Yeah, sorry, I was thinking about something else there. I was trying to figure out what AP's Madden rating is for you. But he's 87.
Should have been higher.
Or maybe less. But
92 minimum. Continue.
Oh, it's so outlandish. But anyways, he's 84.
Oh! That's so disrespectful.
84, baby.
That's so disrespectful.
He's an old man.
Wait till they update it in week 5.
Like, do you, I hope
He
so.
can be
I
94
have him
in
on a
week 5.
fantasy team.
He can be 94 in week 5.
I hope so.
94. Continue.
I hope so. He doesn't play in my damn division anymore. I don't care.
Continue.
Yeah, so I agree. He's not elite anymore, but I would just go out and say that we all know that Madden has a kind of like a soft spot for veterans, and they give away some veteran points.
Anyways, let's move on.
Like when I'm drafting a Madden team, like I'll take like a 77 overall like rookie over like an 82 overall veteran. You know what I mean?
Whatever. Let's move on. The New York Jets.
It's like that garbage fire, that dumpster fire of a quarterback battle. Who's fighting for that? Like Adam Sandler and
no, it's Christian Hackenberg and Josh McCown.
Couple studs.
Yeah.
So we are talking a bit late. Josh McCown has already won the battle, but I mean, I think it's fair to say no matter who's throwing the ball,
He won by decision.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Sorry. Yeah, we have to talk about what kind of.
Yeah, he won by decision.
He
won by decision.
I agree.
Actually, it was a referee stoppage because both fighters accidentally knocked each other out.
Yeah.
But he got up first 3 minutes later, as opposed to Hackenberger, who got up 4 minutes later.
Well, Hackenberg is just having trouble getting out of his corner. You know, like they're like, just do it again. You can't do it right. Do it again. Get up. Do it properly. No, you're doing too much. But Bryce Petty is injured now, and so that's what,
because he probably would have started.
I mean, I would have just injured myself if I was Bryce Petty. He probably did. But Josh McCown obviously taking this QB battle by decision. He's going to have to hold that team together with all of the old man strength that he has.
Oh, but he won't, and that's kind of the point.
Like holding them together means like winning one game.
You know what? You know who Sam Darnold is?
What's that?
You know who Sam Darnold is?
I sure do.
You know what Scam for Sam is? That's the coaching philosophy. Okay, that's the game plan in New York. Scam for Sam. And then he said he isn't even decided if he's gonna come out. He'll come out.
Yeah, he probably will, I guess. Although, like going to the Jets as a QB is kind of just as scary as going to Cleveland as a QB.
I don't know. We'll see.
Who's the last good QB who played there?
In New York.
Say it.
Joe Namath.
Yeah, say it. Joe Namath, baby. That's a long time ago.
Okay. Question.
Long time ago.
Long time ago. When I could still remember. Okay. NFL all-party team. Who's QB1?
Johnny.
Joe Namath or Joe Namath or Johnny?
Johnny.
Are you sure?
Johnny's probably like, if they got together, he'd be like, yo, Johnny, show me some of those new drugs you kids are doing.
All I'm saying.
And he'd be like, yo, John, it's a Tuesday.
Here's the thing. Here's my thing about Broadway Joe. He turned up. He champagne and campaign, as much as he did, and he was still a Super Bowl champion and a Pro Bowler. That's where I give him the points.
That's fair. But is it like, you're picking like a worst, one of those leagues where you have to pick like the worst quarterbacks? Like,
no, I just said who's
the best all partying quarterback?
I just say who all party
so
quarterbacks choose the football.
Until that graybeard retires, and then Johnny's taking the wheel.
Okay. All right. Houston Texans.
So I believe they've come out and said Tom Savage has won the quarterback battle.
TKO.
I agree.
Yeah.
And I think it could get overturned in a few weeks. You never know, man.
A rematch, maybe?
Tom Savage, Savage goes out there, shows his inability to play football at the NFL level. Neither of them have thrown a touchdown in the NFL yet. I think they're really, it's more equal footing than people are going to give it credit for. And I think that with such a good defense right now and a good core of offensive playmakers, they're going to want to have the best playmaker that they can have at the quarterback position. And I think that's going to mean overturning that decision.
We'll see. I don't know. I think they're wondering whether or not why am I blanking on his name? Deshaun Watson. Yeah, well, I think they're wondering whether or not he's ready at this point. And here's the thing: they're still evaluating Tom Savage in terms of the fact that he's got like 1.5 games worth of experience at this point, right? Like he played like a game and a half for them last year, and then he got injured. So they're not 100% sure what they have with him either. So I'm just saying, don't sleep on Tommy S, okay? The man go out be a savage.
Deshaun's ready, baby.
If he was that ready, he'd be the starter.
Yo, Deshaun, hey, have you asked their coach who Deshaun is, man? It's like the Michael Jordan of football.
Yeah, he said that before he actually drafted him.
Yeah, that's fair. But like, here we go. You know what? I love Deshaun's upside. I think that he's a leader of men. I think that he has a rocket arm, and it was completely underrated during the combine.
He does not. I do not think he has a rocket arm. I went back and watched it. I think he has. I think he has a decent arm.
Like, you watch his preseason tape, and you don't think he has a good arm.
No, I think he has a decent arm.
I think he has a good.
I think his arm is fine.
Over or under Alex Smith.
Alex Smith has a noodle arm.
I just said over or under Alex Smith.
Obviously over because he has I think Deshaun Watson's arm is fine. There's nothing wrong with his arm. Obviously, it's better than Alex Smith. Alex Smith has the noodliest game manager arm of all time. Like he has the noodliest arm of a legitimate NFL starter since Chad Pennington. You remember him?
Sure do.
Oh yeah, that guy couldn't throw a football 30 yards without it tumbling head over head. Okay. I think he's
I can't wait for Deshaun to steal this damn job, man.
We'll see.
He's a beast.
Yeah, in year 2, he'll have this job.
In game 2, he could have this job.
Wow.
Hot take.
No, you don't actually believe that.
Week 4.
Week 4? Oh, you're so disrespectful. You don't even know who Tom Savage is.
Oh, yeah? He's a bum. That's who he is.
He's not a bum. I don't think he's a bum.
I think he's got backup QB written all over him.
I think he's high-end backup, though.
Oh, high end. It's like hefty bags versus just
Matt Castle used to be a high-end backup, and he went 11-5.
Sick, good for him.
And then he went to the Then he went to the Pro Bowl the next year.
Driving autopilot.
Went to the Pro Bowl the next year.
Congratulations. Where is he? Well, let's do the Where Are We Now segment featuring Matt Castle.
I think he's still on a roster.
I don't think so.
I think he might be in Tennessee. But anyways, moving on. It was Tom Savage by TKO. Scrolling down. Who else was I looking at? Houston. Jacksonville.
The Jaguars.
Yeah. Somehow, Blake Bortles by corrupt boxing decision.
By corrupt boxing decision. How could it possibly be corrupt if you're winning over Chad Henne? I didn't even think he was still.
Because he was so
in the NFL.
He's been his backup ever since he took the starting job from him his first year.
Strange we haven't heard about him until now.
He literally hadn't led a touchdown drive until game 3 where they put him back in against the 4-string guys who aren't going to make the roster of the other team. Chad Henne was actually decent. He led touchdown drives in the preseason. He's just whatever, but he's an NFL quarterback.
They're a couple minutes from Uncle Rico being quarterback there.
It's not true.
He can throw over the mountains. That's true.
Yeah. My point is that I don't know how Blake Bortles won this job.
I think he just provides, if any, just the smallest, most minuscule amount of upside. It's side to side. It's almost like you're on a very slight incline. You can't really feel.
He is upside in interception totals. He is upside in the amount of time it takes him between initiating a throwing motion and releasing the ball from his hand.
I just think it's a way of them kind of trying to hopefully instill some confidence in him and give him one last shot at the job. And if he loses it again, he'll be done.
All right, Chicago Bears.
Oh. It's a troop show, baby.
Has that been announced yet?
No, actually, nothing's been announced yet.
Okay, so Glennon by decision. Continue.
Yeah, Glennon by decision.
Yeah.
I'll take this one as it's very close to my heart, obviously.
I'll respond after you're done being irrational.
So Trubisky is a far superior quarterback in terms of his natural ability to play the game. Yeah, you might want to put those back on to further examine this conversation. So
yeah, no, don't. I don't need glasses to see holes in this. Continue.
Mike Glennon's first play as a Chicago Bear. Do you know what it was?
It was a pick 6 in a meaningless preseason game.
Mike Glennon is not a good football player.
You know what? Here's the thing. As far as I'm concerned, Mike Glennon actually hasn't had a play yet as a Chicago Bear because preseason means nothing. But continue.
We're gonna talk halfway through, and you're gonna be like, "Wow, Glennon's brutal."
Oh, I'm not saying he's not brutal. I'm just saying I think the smart long-term decision.
I know we're not talking about smart. There ain't nothing smart about fighting in sports.
They're not actually fighting.
But it's for the purposes of this, segment there. So
that's a metaphor.
That was I was referencing the metaphor. I was going deeper into it.
Yeah. Continue.
Trubisky is the better quarterback. Is he the better NFL quarterback? I don't know. Does he have a better arm? Yes. Is he more mobile? Also yes. Is he a better decision maker? Yes. Is he more
Mike Glennon's got a hose,
accurate?
though.
Huh?
Mike Glennon's got a strong arm. He just doesn't know where the ball's going.
Strong-ish. And yeah, like it just he literally looks like Napoleon Dynamite. And Sanchez looks like Uncle Rico.
Uh-huh.
We pretty much have the movie on our team. And then we have Trube, who was taken with the second overall pick, has a lot of upside, and can throw the damn pigskin where he means it to go. By the end of week 4, just kind of like my staple for like that first little quarter of the season where you start having, you hit panic mode, the Bears will change and Trubisky will be a starter because their schedule just start to finish is very difficult, but their first 4 games are even more difficult. I believe it's a combination of Atlanta, Green Bay, and at least 2 other playoff teams. So based on that, and it might not just be...
Okay, that's not true because the Cowboys are the only team facing 4 playoff teams in their first 4 games. Continue.
Point being, Glennon's going to have a rough time against some good teams and may just be a victim of circumstance and will lose the job to Trubisky.
What I would say is if you were going to consider putting Trubisky in, I would not do it until the bye week. I think that's usually the week that teams like to make those panic quarterback switchovers to the young guy that's been put in because it allows them that extra week to prepare for that upcoming opponent so that they can get some confidence from a good performance in that game. That being said,
Atlanta, Tampa, Pittsburgh, Green Bay.
Okay, Tampa didn't make the playoffs last year. That makes sense. All right. Yeah. I do not believe in this Bears roster. I do not believe in their offensive line. Therefore, I don't believe in their running game. Which you don't either because you have advised against drafting Jordan Howard in fantasy leagues.
Well, it's a second sophomore slump, but what was
anyways, that's my
point.
point.
He's the second leading rusher in the NFL.
Yeah, so sophomore
talk
slump.
Shit about their offensive line.
I just did.
1,300 yards.
Yeah, because he's a beast.
You know whose offensive line's worse?
Whose?
Minnesota's.
Yeah, whatever. They've shorted up. They made some acquisitions.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Not to
They
mention
have like
Dalvin.
a second leading rusher in the league.
No, they don't. They let go of that guy, and now he's in New Orleans.
I don't believe he was second in the league last year.
No, but he might be first in the league this year.
4 carries last
He might be
season.
second in the league this year. Might be second in the league
You know what?
this
For
year.
my fantasy team, I hope so.
Yeah, you better hope so.
I don't mind. I
You
mean,
better not disrespect.
I'm partially invested in that wife beater, kid beater.
Okay, first of all,
Sorry,
I never
you're
let
right.
his
He's only one of those things.
just want to reach across and smack you in the face.
Like AP would.
no,
Violence isn't the
because he
answer.
went to. Oh, do you believe in second chances?
Do you believe in love?
Yeah.
Love after love?
So stupid. Anyways, Adrian Peterson's in New Orleans now. They got Dalvin Cook. Steal, by the way. They stole Dalvin Cook in the second round because it's first round talent right there.
Yeah,
But
like Dalves.
point is, I would not put Trubisky in. Like I would.
Like,
only,
would you have put Wentz in? Like, you know what I mean? Like, Dak had to go.
No. I don't know. Like I don't know the Eagles roster well.
I just think
Actually,
it's
you
gonna
know
be
what? No,
a very
I would.
similar.
I would not have put Wentz in because their receivers couldn't hold on to the ball, and I knew that.
Yeah,
their
but
wide
he did
receivers
well
were terrible.
anyways.
They won like 4-12.
He showed his ability to play the quarterback position.
He did well for 4 games, and then they started game planning for him, and then they ate him for breakfast.
It's not true.
They threw a bunch of picks.
He threw a bunch of picks, but he was still
Threw a
playing
whole
good
bunch of
football
picks.
games. He's a rookie, man,
What I'm saying is, I wouldn't have put him in that situation.
and he's still looking good.
I didn't think it looked like
Philly's excited to have him.
Yeah, because they're giving him a mulligan on his first year. Not to mention now they've got Alshon.
Oh, that's right. He's sleeping on good.
They've
rookie
got
quarterbacks.
Alshon. No, I like Carson Wentz. I think he's more talented than Dak Prescott.
Yeah, not Trubisky though.
I think he's also more talented than
Trubisky's
Trubisky.
the best. Of any of those. Guys.
No, there's a bunch of guys that are more talented than Trubisky in the last 2 years.
Rodgers and Brady. That's probably it.
It's so stupid. All right, I'm not even. I never should have
Trubisky,
started this.
baby.
I never should have started this conversation.
You know he's starting. He's too good. Glennon's too bad. And those coaches are all going to get fired unless they do something.
Well, they're gonna get fired anyways because
Not
even if they put
necessarily.
Trubisky in, they're still gonna lose.
I think if they win 6 to 7 games, they will not get fired.
Yeah, they will. Lovie Smith got fired in winning 10 games.
Yeah, I know. That was a different time though.
It still happened.
They had a higher standard. I
They
feel.
still own the same guy.
It
Still
was
owns
a
the team.
different team.
Who owns the team? Same guy, right? Who fires the coach? Thank you. Thank you. That's all I need to say. Los Angeles Rams.
So was that ever a QB battle?
Yeah, I think it was a battle between Jared Goff and somebody else. Jared Goff won by decision. It's looking better. I mean, like I think we're looking at a better Jared Goff than we saw last year.
Mm-hmm.
Only because, as Todd Gurley described it, they were literally running a high school offense.
Right. And now they have Sean McVay. And
Exactly.
I like
Who
Sean
apparently
McVay.
is like this, like he's like this little whiz kid, you know. So
Yeah, he's the youngest head coach in football right now.
obviously, I'm his head coach by like a million years in football right now. He's like
Adam
30.
Gase is pretty young too.
How old's Adam Gase? I bet you he's at least 40. But
No. Anyways, I like Sean McVay there. I'm hoping Gurley can have some resurgence. Really screwed me over in fantasy last year. But we're looking at
39. Damn. Almost 40.
That's still pretty young for a head coach.
No, it's very young for a head coach. But
What's Sean McVay, like 34?
I think he's 34 the oldest. But
Yeah, maybe 30. Anyhow, looking forward to seeing what they can do in LA. They're getting a little bit feisty on the defensive end.
31.
Ooh, very young, almost a decade. So I mean, Goff obviously wins this one by decision, and he'll have the season to kind of play out and to improve and to hopefully get comfortable in this new offense with some new personnel. But looking forward to it.
And it's funny because his success actually isn't based on what he does. I think so much as it's based off of what Todd Gurley is able to do.
Mm-hmm.
If they can actually, unleash the beast with him, then
Unleash the beast.
I think if they can get Todd Gurley going, that's going to make his job so much easier.
No, absolutely. I mean, and that just comes down to the offensive line half the time. And I mean, as you know, it goes hand in hand with Goff's success because I think a whole lot of last year, Gurley was looking at 9 guys in the box because they just couldn't do anything over top. So they were just going to take their chances and run those kind of heavier packages, with those big ass linebackers in there and just stuff them up.
Mm-hmm.
So it goes hand in hand, but I'm looking forward to seeing if he can progress. He was obviously looked really good coming out of Cal, and I'm hoping he can live up to that expectation.
People were already saying he was better than Adrian Peterson 4 games into his career. What's he done since then?
Oh, I was talking about Goff.
No. I'm Todd Gurley. I'm just saying.
Yeah. What's he done since then? Well, he had a fantastic rookie season that everyone saw what he did. And, I mean, obviously AP didn't really have a good offensive line for a whole lot of time either. And I never said he was better than AP. That's just outlandish.
No, I agree. It's ridiculous. Man played the best team games of football I've ever seen any running back play in my life.
Just feel for his son,
You know what? Him and his son's relationship is it's progressed and it's developed, and he's learned the lesson from his mistakes. Because he was raised in Texas. You don't think everybody in Texas beats their kids with a switch?
Does that make it right?
No, it doesn't. And now he knows it's not right.
Does he?
The point is he didn't know. Yeah, the NFL made him take classes before they reinstated him.
Oh, good, yeah.
Yeah.
People who go to AA never drink again, so
It's not an addiction. It's totally different.
isn't it?
Yeah, it's learned behavior and then misconceptions about what's appropriate in terms of raising a child. And now he's had those misconceptions corrected. And he said he wants to move on and continue pursuing a better relationship with his son.
I heard a report that his tree has barely any branches on it. That's all I'm saying.
That's fictitious. Is there anything else you want to talk about in terms of quarterback battles?
Yo, cut me a switch, boy. No, I think that's pretty much it for the most part. Obviously, Hoyer's going to get the start in San Fran. Who cares?
Yeah, that wasn't even a battle.
Not even that big
That's
of a deal.
sad. When you bring in Brian Hoyer and it's literally not even a battle for your quarterback job, you know you're about to lose some
they
games.
brought in Hoyer and Barkley from Chicago, and he just took them both. So bad.
Remember when you thought Matt Barkley was good?
I had hope.
Yeah.
I had hope.
You shouldn't have. Anyways, and here's the thing. Would it surprise me if San Francisco started 2-2 and ended the season like 4-12? No. Because Brian Hoyer's that kind of guy where like you put him in there and for 4 games he can play very well.
He can not lose games.
Exactly. Eventually teams figure him out and like you look at the footage.
They only have so much going on offense.
And then you just start intercepting passes and stuff. But Carlos Hyde, he's going to be nice.
Here's hoping.
Mm-hmm.
But you can stay healthy, man.
Yeah. Alan Shaw's clearly not going to make an appearance. So I guess, did you ever watch any footage of any kind from the fight?
Watch the whole thing.
You watched the whole thing?
Watch the whole thing.
Live? Oh, beauty. Did you go somewhere?
Yeah.
Okay. I found an illegal YouTube stream.
That's awesome.
Okay, yeah. I was really proud of myself. I was worried. To be honest, I was very worried that
Sure, you weren't
gonna go
alone.
fun. Okay, what were your initial thoughts?
Well, just from like a fan's perspective, it was kind of cool to watch history. Like there have been, Super Bowls are always a big deal, but you don't really know about the impact of that Super Bowl, until it finishes. Obviously, the Patriots coming back from the deficit that they did in the Super Bowl is going to be a big thing that we always talk about, but we didn't know that going in. There was definitely, that kind of vibe, that kind of, tension where I was about, kind of everyone being really excited to be a part of history, to kind of see this overlap in sport. And I think as a fan, that's what I was most excited for. That a lot of people, including myself, probably don't truly understand the intricacies that make UFC that much different than boxing. Obviously, I know the obvious things, but I'm sure from an athletic perspective, from a muscle and training and that kind of work, perspective, I don't really have knowledge. But what I do know is that for anyone to come out of their sport, and say they can beat someone else in that sport, it's huge. And for me, being able to watch that, being able to engage with it and kind of talk to some of the fans and just see kind of where everyone was kind of siding was interesting. Of course, you could tell McGregor fans from a mile away usually just buzzed on the side of their heads and wearing an Irish flag. Irish? Is that a word? Never.
Nope.
Irish flag. And Mayweather fans were pretty much everyone else. So
I don't know. It was a pro, and this is funny because Floyd's actually a Las Vegas native. So it was very interesting that despite the fact that it was his hometown, it was still a largely pro McGregor crowd. The Irish basically took over Las Vegas for a week.
Right. But the odds were in Floyd's favor, and he did come out victorious. So it was, exciting to watch, and you could just really tell by the end of it that Floyd playing or rather fighting in the defensive way that he does, kind of feeling out his opponent, letting him wear himself down, was a great strategy, and it's not one that he hasn't employed before, from what I understand. But I think the idea is that he knew McGregor was gonna come out of the gates firing and really try and as he probably would in a UFC circle, set the tone early. And try and lay a couple big smacks down on Floyd's facial region. But, you could just see by the end of the fight that McGregor was completely gassed. He had no energy left whatsoever.
Gassed and outclassed.
Absolutely. And I mean, McGregor had the whole hands behind his back move too, which was just pretty sweet.
It's pretty classic him.
I like his swagger. I'll give him that. And I think that...
Is this your first time watching a full Conor McGregor fight of any kind?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, you got to go watch some footage of his UFC fights because if you like swag, oof,
dripping, eh?
He's got a little,
just dripping.
He's got just a touch
for sure. But yeah, I mean, it was cool to watch, and I think we all kind of saw it coming. And I think it was really Floyd's fight to lose, because it is his sport, and I think a lot of people, including even I heard Mike Tyson come out and say that he has a lot of respect for McGregor. I think a lot of people, he's tripled his net worth,
yeah, something like that.
It just it's a win-win, obviously, and we're not the first people, and we won't be the last people to say that. But I think despite the fact that he lost, McGregor did win a lot from being in this situation.
Yes, I agree. Do you want the breakdown?
Sure, yeah. I mean, that's pretty much all I have to say. I got a fan's perspective.
Okay. Well, I guess I'm a fan too. I
mean, like a not sports fan, just like I'm drunk at the bar watching the fight.
Okay, that's fair. I guess I'm probably a little more initiated in terms of so. Martial arts than you are.
Whatever WWE is.
I'm also a fan of combat sports.
Arts.
Yeah. Because Brock Lesnar, he's not a real combat athlete, right?
I mean, he is, but we'll never know because he's always following a script, right?
No, he was also the UFC heavyweight champion and a two-time NCAA heavyweight champion in wrestling.
Yeah, he made a progression, but I'm talking about WWE. I'm not talking about the athletes within it.
Oh, anyways. So I was scoring the fight at home. I had it going into the 10th round. I had it 6 rounds for Floyd, 3 for Conor, and the 3 for Conor were the first 3 rounds. Now, it's interesting. People assume that Floyd was fighting defensively coming in because he didn't throw a lot of punches in the first round. He was actually, his posture and his movement was very offensive and aggressive. He was constantly moving forward in the fight, which is very atypical of him. And it speaks to the game plan that they had. The game plan was, we're going to let him pound on me for 3-4 rounds. We're going to get him into deep water, a longer fight than he'd ever experienced in the UFC, and then when he gets tired, we're going to take him out from there. And it's interesting. It's very markedly different from most Floyd Mayweather game plans, because most Mayweather game plans are very defensive and are meant to win the fight on points by decision. So you're trying to give up as few points as possible and get hit as little as possible. This game plan was designed to finish the fight before decision. He was trying to either knock Conor out or gain a TKO, which he obviously gained. So because of that, he wasn't afraid to get hit, and he wasn't afraid to give up rounds, which is why that's what ended up happening. A lot of people gave Conor as many as 4 or 5 rounds. I gave him 3 because I gave Floyd round 4 and I gave Floyd round 8 because I thought he landed the more devastating shots in that round. But what I think Conor McGregor acquitted himself very well, more than most people expected him to, including myself. But at the same time, I think the numbers and the optics of the fight are causing people to overestimate his legitimate boxing skill a little bit. Floyd was very easily able to exploit the fact that he doesn't have a lot of experience fighting on the inside, because UFC fighters fight at a different range from each other, because of the ability to throw kicks, because of having to be able to defend against takedowns, submissions, and the like. Mixed martial artists fight at a greater range, whereas boxers often get right inside. So Conor didn't know how to fight on the inside. So Floyd just put his head down, got to the inside, and that's where he won the rounds that he won, was in there. But I think the big thing is that because Conor actually won rounds, people are assuming that the fight was competitive because Floyd got beat in rounds. Floyd gave Conor rounds because of the strategy that he had going into the fight. Not necessarily because he couldn't have outboxed him for every single round. He just decided that given that they wanted to give Las Vegas a show, they wanted to finish the fight, they decided to allow Conor to tire himself out throwing punches early. And that's exactly what happened. You know? And I think part of it was because given the fact that he didn't want to expose himself to counter punches, Conor didn't use his normal punching technique. When Conor lands knockout blows in mixed martial arts, he does it with a sort of a movement technique known as elastic recoil, which basically uses the momentum of a punch coming back and then snapping it forward in a way that is devastating, but at the same time, very telegraphed. You can see it coming from a long while away. He knew that if he tried to use elastic recoil punches against Floyd, Floyd would see them coming from a mile away. He'd never hit him. So in that case, he had to hit him mostly with short punches using only his arms. So that's why I don't think we saw the full Conor power that people were expecting, right? Like he hit Floyd flush to the jaw with an uppercut and Floyd didn't even move. Mm-hmm. And yeah, Floyd's got a chin, but not that kind of chin. Right. I think if that was an elastic recoil punch, then Floyd goes down. But the thing is, elastic recoil is the reason that Conor is a counterpuncher, because he sets guys up in the octagon in positions where even though they see the punch coming, they can't do anything about it. Think Jose Aldo. Think Eddie Alvarez. Those guys got knocked out by punches they saw coming, but because they were counterpunches, they're out of position. They couldn't do anything about it. Right, so I think ultimately people are overestimating Conor's boxing skills because of the score of the fight, but I feel like he still acquitted himself well. That said, Floyd won this fight, and he is going to firmly reinsert himself into retirement, because I will tell you one thing. Floyd has beat Canelo before. Canelo Alvarez, who's fighting Triple G later this month, and what's actually like probably the biggest boxing match of the year. If Floyd fought Canelo or Triple G, those guys would finish him pretty early at this point. He's done. In terms of being able to go up against world-class boxers, he's done. True. But that's my take on the whole situation.
Fair enough. Sounds pretty good.
Any questions, comments, concerns?
No, I feel very, very educated.
Okay. I'm just excited for Conor to get back into the octagon. You know, I don't know why. I guess like a lot of just like general sports fans would be excited to see him box again. I have no desire to see him box again. I want to see Conor McGregor do what he does best, which is obviously a stand-up heavy, mixed martial arts game where he basically does what he can to keep the fight on his feet. Like, very good takedown defense and stuff like that, but he's not looking to tap you out. I just want to see him in the octagon. And I'm thinking Diaz McGregor 3 later this year.
Looking forward to it.
Yeah. Well, I just don't think. I think like Tony Ferguson's fighting Lee right now, and so he won't be able to make that fight. And I don't think Khabib. You don't know who these people are, but that's fine. I'm talking to the audience. I think Khabib has to prove that he can actually make weight at 155 without his friggin' liver shutting down in his weight cut before they can put him against Conor. That's the thing. And Conor wants to fight him. Conor wants to fight him real bad because Conor's the guy who always wants to fight the best. Anytime, anywhere, he'll fight anyone. But yeah, I think Khabib's gonna have to wait. So to me, the most natural thing is Diaz.
Should be a banger.
Yeah, I'm excited. And I think that's about it.
I think that's it.
We've been stood up by Alan Shaw.
We have been.
It's heartbreaking.
For me, anyways.
We literally came to his home. Try to make it as easy as possible. We set up the microphone for him. I don't know if anyone noticed. That's not for show.
It's there.
That's a live microphone. Talking to that microphone. Oh. And as we were talking smack about him, just in the nick of time, he shows up. Pick up that microphone and tell me what you thought about Floyd and Conor. Just in time. Ladies and gentlemen, Alan Shaw.
Hey, guys. That fight literally went exactly as I expected. I had the fight going 9, maybe 10 rounds.
Yeah.
Mayweather doesn't get knockouts often, but
I had it at TKO in the 8, so it went a little longer than I thought it would.
But again, kind of that same sort of range where it's, you knew that just Mayweather's ring experience was gonna hold true. He threw 10 punches the first 3 rounds. Like
yeah, he threw more than
6 in the first round.
Yeah,
I remember,
and then he threw I
think another
10
6.
and 12 in the. He averaged less than 10 punches a round.
Yeah,
for the first
3 or 4 rounds. And you know what? On the judges' scorecards, he probably lost all 4. Maybe he was down 3-1 after
here's
4
the
rounds.
hilarious thing. You'll love this too. So everybody on planet Earth, including Showtime, had McGregor winning at least the first 3 rounds. That's all. And I only gave him the first 3 rounds. I had it 6-3 Floyd going into the round 10.
Yeah.
2 of the boxing judges had McGregor winning 1 round for the entire fight.
Yeah, that's why you need those fights to. That's why so many guys just need the fights to end. You want to give somebody the opportunity to finish the fight before taking it to the judges' scorecards. Because as you can see, I mean, there is a lot of human error in that, and what we see might
And
not be what they
corruption
see
in boxing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Anything else?
No, that's all I got.
All right. Sounds good.
Sweet.
Well, that's disappointing. Alan, anything just on your chest right now that you like to get off in the form of a blast off?
Ooh. No, I'm kind of put on the spot right here. I'm just trying to think. I heard the beginning of the show, so you guys obviously touched on the Joe Hayden news.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I think that
Talked about IT. That was my blast off.
Yeah, I read an article on the way home talking about how if the deal falls through for Irving, the Bucks have already said that they're in
Brogdon
the
and Middleton.
yeah, along with the picks. So.
But then the Boston deal is still better.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you just take the Boston deal. It doesn't fall through.
Yeah, I mean,
what I said. Did you hear what I said?
I didn't catch a ton of it. I was still at work. But
I think Boston has the most leverage in the situation.
Yeah.
Because when you look at the possible assets that could sit out, Cleveland has the biggest one. Kyrie's not coming to camp.
No.
So you need to get a deal done. And ultimately, this is the best deal that you can get. Would you like Isaiah Thomas to be healthier? Yes. Yeah. But at the end of the day, if trading Danny Ainge doesn't want to give up that additional pick, you look around the league, you're not seeing any better offers.
No.
Dan Gilbert's going to break down, and he will take what Boston gives him.
Gilbert got fired, remember? Gilbert's not there anymore.
Dan Gilbert?
In Cleveland?
He's the owner.
Oh, sorry. I was mixing him up with Griffin.
Yeah.
David Griffin.
Yeah. I was about to say they fired the owner.
I was like, oof.
Is that even possible?
Just despicable.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah.
What's his name? In Cleveland?
Griffin's not there anymore. Yeah.
No, not in. They fired the owner of the Clippers.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It happens.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
so I guess my only blast off really is I kind of like what the Browns are doing. I'm not a huge fan of Kaiser starting, but I think that organization.
You predicted that though.
Yeah, I did. But
Yeah,
I'm not,
good work.
Still not a fan of it.
Yeah.
But I think that organization is really trying to take a step in the right direction to being more, not being a doormat in the NFL and actually trying to be a respectable organization. So kudos to them.
Jabril looks nice too.
Yeah, I'm just really as
nice.
a fan
Don't
of
tell
football,
Alex that.
I won't tell.
As a fan of football, I'm looking forward to the Browns hopefully being relevant again sometime in the not too distant future.
Well, you just don't want ducks sitting out there, right?
Yeah.
All right. For me, it makes sense to me on a level that they're starting Kaiser because here's the thing. You've got a young team in general across the board. You need the most competent quarterback in there so you can evaluate the rest of your team, right? So it's a balance between like we don't want to put the guy out to the dogs, but at the same time we need to evaluate the rest of the team. And is the gap between him and the next guy down, Osweiler, so big that the number 2 guy won't allow us to efficiently evaluate the rest of the talent? Yeah. And in this case, I think it is because like you can't evaluate wide receivers when you've got a guy that exclusively throws to tight ends and running backs
and like the ground.
Yeah.
Or like the sideline.
The sideline report.
To like coaching staffs and bench players alike.
Yeah, exactly.
He's a bum. I hate him.
On a quick aside, who would you rather have though, Osweiler or Bortles?
Ugh.
Yeah, I know.
Bortles.
Yeah,
Bortles. Yeah, Bortles.
Because
I just think
I
think he has a stronger arm. I don't know
Yeah.
if it's like any more accurate. Like they both couldn't hit the broadside of a barn if they tried, but at least he has arm power. And like if maybe you get him in the right situation, they can like work on his decision making. But like literally, Brock Osweiler underthrows receivers. He overthrows people to the sideline. Like he just has no gauge on his arm whatsoever.
I think Brock Osweiler is just like there's boring bad and there's train wreck bad.
Yeah.
I think Osweiler is boring bad because he knows how much he sucks. So like I said, he's just going to throw to his tight end and his running backs. Whereas I think Blake Bortles is going to try some stuff because he did have the season where he threw 40 touchdowns.
Yeah.
So he's had success.
Yeah, that's true.
So I think that at least I get to watch like the tire fire.
Yeah.
It's fun to watch stuff burn.
Agreed.
Not fun to watch stuff
healthy for
fizzle
the
out.
environment.
Exactly. That being the case, this is a good place to wrap everything else. Aaron, for the last time in studio until I make a trip to Toronto at some point, early in the next NBA season to go watch The Kang.
That'd be a good.
Where can
That'd be a
you
good
find-
live Ocho spot.
We'll be there. Don't you worry about it. I'm gonna bring Austin. I'm gonna try and sneak the laptop in.
Just being there in the
2 microphones.
Be there in the Ocho suite. We'll just have our own like suite up there.
I'm not sure that's in the budget.
Yeah, probably not.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Soon.
All right.
We land those big deals.
More
baby.
importantly, so that one day it's in the budget, where can they find us?
Great point. We can find us in a variety of places. Of course, the very first place to stop is the Ocho.ca, the house that we built for all of you to live in with our greatest sports stories and sports writers spanning everything from, well, at this point, mostly golf, hockey, basketball, and football, but always opportunities to expand. We had a rugby piece go out not too long ago.
Baseball?
We have some baseball stuff always coming out from Josh and the boys. So definitely a little bit of everything for everyone there. Beyond that, you can check the podcast out itself on iTunes as well as Podbean. When you're on iTunes, make sure to leave us a rating and subscribe so you can ensure that you're getting all of our content as soon as it's made available. And for Podbean, you can do that stuff pretty much whenever you'd like to, and you can keep it offline for commutes. And for myself, on the TTC, because there's no service down there. So I'm going to have to download that offline, and I would probably use either iTunes or Podbean to do that. Beyond that, we're obviously very social characters, and you can always check the Ocho out on Facebook and on Twitter. Still waiting for people just to say what they want us to hear, or rather what they want to hear, so we can stop coming up with rap sheets. But until that time, we will continue to write rap sheets. And beyond that, I mean, you can find us in Ottawa and Toronto, I guess, a little split.
His palms are sweaty, knees weak, arms are heavy. He's moving to the big smoky.
Mom's spaghetti. I think that does it for the boys.
Yeah, absolutely. And just everybody keep a heads up, especially on the Facebook page. The Ocho is making a bold new venture into the world of video content. Some of you might have seen it. Austin and I did some dispatches live from the Women's Open on the Sunday. We thought those went really well. They were received very well in terms of our number of views. So check out the Facebook page. in the coming weeks, you will begin to see more of that, which is very exciting stuff.
Absolutely looking forward to it.
I'm Riley Evans. Alan Shaw, thanks for stopping by to your own house. Aaron Lieberman, good luck in the TO.
Thanks, bud.
We'll keep this going on. The dream's not dead yet, folks. I'm Riley Evans. This has been the Ocho Podcast. We'll see you.